Hello and welcome to this edition of Consider This. I'm your host, Charles Lake. Today we're talking about the neurotoxic effects that styrene has on the body. And as we can see, this paper was done in 1980. And this one is a little bit hard to get. If you write to or go to the website for the press here, the Biomedic Press, you might be able to get a copy of it. I have been interacting with some people, and that's how I got my copy of this paper. And this is significant because the effects of the styrene on the serotonin and I'm not even going to try it in the dopamine. These are three of the neurotransmitters of the brain, of the whole body. In fact, serotonin, from what I've been told, there's only 2 to 3% of serotonin is in the brain. The rest of it works the rest of our body, our organs, and our everything. So, dopamine. So this is very, very important. This is how styrene actually affects everything in our body, by getting in the way of these neurotransmitters. And and this is, I thought, was very important. Now this, like I said, was done in 1980. And back in 1980, reports of migration of the polymer styrene into food material stored in polystyrene containers have caused great concern due to their toxic properties. The workers handling this polymer are reported to suffer from neurological disorders involving both the central and peripheral nervous system. Okay, now this is important for so many different ways. There's a lot of diseases that are out there, fibromyalgia and stuff like this, because the central nervous system is made up from the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is made up from nerve fibers branch off from spinal cord to extend to all parts of the body, including neck, arms, torso, legs, skeletal muscles, and internal organs. So neuropathy has a lot to do with the peripheral nervous system, and fibromyalgia is in the nerves of the. So like I say, I'm not a doctor. I'm just an old truck driver who suffers from styrene poisoning from handling the polystyrene food containers, and it's caused me diabetes and so forth. So I am doing this because of what happened to me, and I don't want to see it happening to everybody else that it's already happening to, and it's costing us trillions of dollars for our health care. And here Congress wants to slash what they pay, even though the FDA has been allowing the food industry to put styrene in our food to poison us, to cause these health problems. And it's wrong. So that's why I am doing the show. And so this here you can get from this website here, and you just look on the web and you find many different ones. I've this is the one I decided on that I would share with you. And the chemical messengers called neurotransmitters, which is the serotonin and the dopamine and that other long one that my mouth will not let me say today. But little known about the biochemical mechanism on which styrene exerts its neurotoxicity. And this is a problem. This was 1980. So, email me if you would like a copy of this or you want to talk about any of this. So there's the increase in the levels of these biogenic enemies may result from the effect of styrene from the synthesis or breakdown of the brain tissue. Okay, serotonin play a significant role in the physiologic function of the brain. Alterations to these levels have been shown to cause abnormal mental behavior and mood. Show that styrene and levels of serotonin and whatever by inhibiting the metabolic distribution. Okay, so what they're talking about here, the mental behavior and mood, we can go to, I wrote a letter to my congressman, and it could be depression, it could be neuropathy, it could be autism, it could be a lot of things. And this is what I wrote him. There are other costly lifelong health issues that styrene is linked to. Some of the major health issues are depression, the effects on the nerves, potential human reproductive and developmental effects, and autism. Well, the long-term effects are the long-term effects of styrene include fatigue, poor coordination, difficulty in concentration, loss of short-term memory, and personality changes such as increased anxiety, nervousness, and irritability. Now, most of these haven't been linked to the diseases. Styrene hasn't really been linked to the disease, but as a logical person, and I'm a logical person, if you look at a frog, it's a frog. So I'm seeing that styrene has all these side effects, yet nobody's put these side effects together or they haven't done studies to confirm that these side effects come from styrene. Let's put it that way. So, but the 2006 that we looked at back in one of the other episodes goes into the fact that it's a neurotoxic chemical, and there are many of them listed, but styrene is in there. So it's got to be part of it. All right, so let's go back here for a minute. And there was something else I wanted to look at. Oh, yes. We were talking about depression. And we're going to do a different show on that. But the inhibitors that they used to use, which have fallen out of favor because concerns of the interactions with foods and other drugs, actually elevate the levels of serotonin, dopamine, and so they were upping the levels even more. But if you look at this here, and we go back up here, it shows the effect styrene has on levels of serotonin and dopamine in the brain. Styrene treatment significantly increased the levels of serotonin 62.5%, 50%, but had no effect on the dopamine. So I don't understand why they wanted to up the levels of the serotonin even more if they're trying to treat depression and styrene causes depression. Why wouldn't they want to reduce the level of serotonin instead of increase it, according to this document here? And we have to remember that 100% of the American public, and this probably goes worldwide, so it's probably 100% of the world population has styrene in its system. A newborn baby just being born has a level of styrene in its body already. So this is something that we're going to have to decrease, and the only way of decreasing it is to get it out of our foods, to stop using it as a fertilizer so that they can say it's normally in our foods or organically in our foods. And I just signed a petition the other day where they wanted to grow plants in polystyrene tubes, which leach the styrene into the dirt and into the plant and into the food. So come on, people, we got to use our heads here and look to become healthier instead of sicker. So, like I say, this is the thing that glues everything together. And here's the last episode we talked about the diabetes and the environment page, and this comes from their website. And disrupting chemicals, which is chemicals that disrupt the serotonin, dopamine, and that the other one I can't say. And it goes on here. Body is made up of glands that secrete hormones. The pancreas, for example, is the organ that secretes the hormone insulin. Okay, and it goes on, and it has some very, very good information. So, this is something that we have to really get into. I advise you to write a letter to your congressmen, to your senators, to your state representatives, to your county representatives, to your town or city representatives, and let them know this is what I did here. And I had a meeting in their office. Let me see, it was on the 28th. And she says, we'll talk soon. This was 9/28, so it was August 28th. But it's 11/1 now, and I haven't heard anything yet. But the FDA has two petitions. One says that styrene causes cancer, which it does. It causes leukemia and other blood disorders, and it also causes diabetes, and as we were talking, and So they got a petition for that from a bunch of medical people, which is in another episode. And they also have a petition from the Styrene Information and Research Center, which is a styrene lobby. They handle 95% of the companies that sell styrene in the United States. And they want it to be no longer used as a food additive because it's been abandoned, which is not the truth, but like I said back then, it keeps them from being sued into extinction. And most styrene comes from benzene anyway, so we'll get into that later. We've already done almost 16 minutes on this, and we're going to be coming back to this from time to time, because this is the glue that holds everything together. This tells you that the serotonin and dopamine and the neurotransmitters are what makes us work. And if we interrupt them, it interrupts our whole being. So we get diseases. We have to stop the government from taking our medical away, seeing that they caused the situation, but we also have to stop this from happening so that we don't need the medical. If we don't need the medical, then the cost of the medical goes down, cost of living, the quality of life is better, and we go forward. I thank you for listening to this episode, and like I said, we'll be back to this back and forth in some of the papers that we're going to come up to next on autism and things are going to come back to this. So I'm hoping that you stay interested, and we will talk about how this destroys our bodies even further. I thank you for listening. Have a good day.